It's Ginger from Stampin' the Cape, and I'm here with my video for the June ICS blog hop, which the theme was featuring the 2021-23 in colors. Now, these were some of my projects, and unfortunately these cards I already gave away, but I'm going to show you the same process, but we're going to use Fresh Freesia, which is the third in color. And in all of these I have used the soft succulent and the evening evergreen for the leaves, so they all incorporate the 5 new in colors. And I'm going to show you, oh, and just before I forget, this month for June, if you use my host code by June 30th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time with a $50 order or more, that's before tax and shipping, I'm giving away a full package, not a partial package. This is what I have left right now. I've ordered some of the Champagne Rhinestone Basic Jewels, which I'll send out at the end of the month. So that's my gift to you for using my business. So let's get started. I don't like to do too much chit-chatting. So the pieces we need for this project, this is a 4 1/4 by 11 Sahara Sand piece of cardstock. You can fold it, you can do 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 and fold it at 4 1/4 if you want the regular A4 style, but I kind of like doing them this way. We're going to need another piece of Sahara Sand, which you can either cut a diagonal piece, or you can start with a 4 by 5 1/4, emboss the whole thing, because I've used the Tasteful Textile embossing folder, and it's really, you know, you can use either side essentially. So if you do it and cut it in half, you can use one card this way, and then you can use the other card, you can use the other card the other way. So either side can be used. But anyway, that's what happened here, and I'm using, this is technically I think the reverse side, but it looks just as good. You'll also need a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of Whisper White. That's going to go on the front. I see there's a smudge on there. And then another one for the inside, which we'll put aside for now. You'll need a basic white. This is like 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. This is the largest scallop triangle from the Stitch So Sweetly dies. So this is the largest one from that die set. You'll need that for the front. You'll also need, of course, the Painted Poppies and Poppy Moments stamps and dies. And I'll have a PDF list with all the supplies and with this video on my blog post, so you can download that for free. I also used, oh, this was from another card. I didn't use that one on this. That's another card I'm going to be doing later. So anyway, these are basically the supplies, and then for whatever color you decide to use, as I said, this time we're using Fresh Freesia, and the coordinating color I'm using for the flower is Highland Heather, which I've already cut out. You're going to want to cut out from Soft Succulent. You're going to want to cut out 1 each of the large leaves and 1 of the little bud leaves. And you're also going to want to cut out from the Evening Evergreen the same leaves, and then 2 of the bud pieces. And then you want, in Basic Black, the little interior sprigs. I always like to refer to this one as, unfortunately, the COVID piece. But anyway, and then you'll need another piece of, let's see, this one is 3 3/3 by 3 1/2, and this is what we're going to do for the background of our flower. So let's get started, and I'll show you basically how this is all done. Let's put all these pieces, and hopefully I won't lose any, which I wouldn't. Oh, the first thing I know I don't have is my adhesive. Let me go grab that. Kind of important. And I'm using Tombow liquid glue because I like how I can get it in details for, you know, all these little wiry pieces. You don't need very much. So what I've got is a blending brush, and I will confess I haven't bought the full-size ink pads. What I've decided, since I'm not holding in-person classes right now and I don't have groups, I decided to try just purchasing the little mini ink spots and then using the re-inkers for the in colors anyway, not the permanent colors in our set, but for the in colors, using the re-inker and inking it up. Now these are the screened pads. They're not the foam pads, and they are a little trickier to work with, but I thought for now this is what I'm going to use. So, and you can see I've already used this blending brush on a blue, but it's perfectly dry and you can use it over and over again. I just clean them off and try to get as much ink out when I'm done with a project. But if you want, they've been back ordered for so long. They are available now, but they were in back order for so long, so I just decided I'm going to keep using them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink up my brush, and I'm going to saturate this with some color. And when you use the blending brushes, you want to start off the edge and work your way in, because if you just start in the middle, you're liable to, especially if you have a heavy hand, you're liable to end up with just a dark splodge, and you really don't want that. You can always add more ink, but you don't want to have just one big spot that's really, really dark that you can't get rid of. So I'm just going to keep adding color, because what we're going to do is we're going to cut out the background and 3 little buds for our project. And I want some of it kind of darker than other areas, so it gives it sort of a mottled look. And everything today, in fact, I had worked on another card earlier to send to someone. It seems like everything we're doing, or a lot of our products, are like color, watercolor wash. And so this also kind of gives that texture or feel where you have light and dark. Okay, so I think that's good enough. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my dies. I'm taking the background die, which is this one, and I'm going to cut that out, and I'm going to take the little buds, and I'm going to cut 3 of these out, and I will cut them. The buds I'm going to cut in different areas, like I'll have some dark, some with a little bit of white, because generally buds, when they start to form, they're not fully colored. So we're going to go with that. So let me just run over to my machine and let me do that real quick. This is the only die cutting we have to do, so I try to put all the pieces I believe that I should need. So there's one little bud there. And if you just drop it, sometimes they just, there we go, they just pop out. So, oh, nope, that was the one that was there. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I'm done with this. I'm just going to put my dies away so I don't lose pieces, which I have sometimes looked for days for a missing piece. Let me get these out of the way. And so you would have cut out also, as I said, your little pieces for the center of the flower in basic black, and you would have cut out 2 of the long stem leaves, one set in the soft succulent and one set in the evening evergreen. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this front piece of basic white and my fresh freesia and the image from the stamp set that has sort of this splatter, and oops, I brought the wrong size block. Let me just grab the right side block. Okay, and again, because I'm using these little ink pads, you know, you got to work a little harder. The big pad would definitely make it easier, but like I said, I'm trying this out for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just randomly stamp around the perimeter, and I'm going to stamp once with full strength and stamp again with the half strength or stamped off ink to give it more interest, so you have darks and lights and different shades. And I can even stamp over again the lights, and then we'll do another offshoot. We'll continue to do this down the right side. And I'm only doing it on the edges for now because that triangle piece is going to cut across it. So we'll see what it looks like, and if I need to add more, I can add more. And it's just like I said, it would be faster with the other ink pad, but that's the way I'm going. I'm rolling with this. And I think I'm going to add one bit more dark down here just because I want to. All right, so let's see where that triangle lands if I need to do more. Okay, so I'm going to have to come in a little bit further here, although this is going to be covered by this piece, so maybe I'm just going to leave it like that, just for the sake of time. Why bother, right? So we're good with that. Now, on my original card, this was the first one I did, I actually stamped on Evening Evergreen with Whisper White ink and then the white embossing powder, and heat embossed it because the polished pink is a really rich, deep color and vibrant. But when I got to the pale papaya, I thought, well, that's a bit softer, and I think that would have been too bold. So I stamped directly with the soft succulent, and I think I'm going to do that again with this one. So before we go any further, I'm going to stamp my sentiment, which is from, ooh, I forgot that stamp set. It's from the Peaceful Moments stamp set. So it's this Happy Birthday. I forgot to put that down. So let me just put this on this block. And again, I'm using the small ink pad. Well, let's see if I can, if I don't do it straight, then I'll have to cut a piece. But let me just test it out here a minute. Oh, that's inking up fine. So I'm gonna all right, I'm gonna just stamp it right up in here. Okay, whoops, I've got a little bit of ink there. You know what, I've got a trick. I have a little sanding eraser that for light colors you can actually remove them with a little bit of work. Tombow makes these, Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell them, but it's a sand and rubber eraser, and one side is kind of sandy. It's like the old, I don't know if I'm dating myself, but the old-fashioned erasers they used to make for ink pens. I remember in school we used to have them sometimes where they had a sandy eraser on the end before computers, and you had to write reports and you had to write everything. So it gave you an opportunity to get rid of the ink or try to erase, although writing on the old line drawn paper, it wasn't very successful. But I think we also used to use them, again, I'm dating myself, in my old typing class. Before we had correction tape or whiteout or any of those things, we used to have to erase any mistakes we made. So, oops, I think I erased that a little too much. There we go. Okay, so we kind of got rid of that. And you could always put like a gem or whatever. In fact, I was going to use the In Color rhinestones with this, but they've been on back order for so long that it just gave up. And then I was going to color just a clear one with the markers with the Stampin' Blends, but I couldn't even get the Freesia Stampin' Blends because they were on back order. So there's been a lot of issues between production and the shipping when they got stuck in places and ports. So it's been a little crazy. So, okay, I'm going to take my base and fold that in half. And then I'm just going to attach, let me make sure that looks good. Okay, I'm just going to attach my white piece. And actually, before I do that, I want to make sure this piece is not going to be hanging off the edge. Nope, looks like I did a pretty good job. So we'll go right in and attach this. Excuse me if I end up running off the camera here. Try to stay in screen. And I had to put a light on, which is casting a little bit of a shadow. I waited a little bit too late in the day for natural light, and then my overhead light caused huge shadows. So I have this little light that I'm hoping will help you see, but I'm hoping I don't have too much of a shadow going on. Okay. Just add that right to this white piece, right edge to edge. Make sure I get it all on there. Cool. I'm just going to reference my picture here because I guess it's been a little while, and as I said, I gave these cards away already. So, yep. Okay. So now I'm going to put together my flower. We've got the base, and I'm using Highland Heather. And before maybe I should have used, that's weird because I thought I did this before and it looked different. Okay, change of plan. I thought Highland Heather was going to work when I first saw it, but I don't really like the way that looks. So I've decided to switch to Rich Razzleberry, which is a little bit deeper and I think will work better. So that's what we're going with, Rich Razzleberry. On the fly planning. Okay, so what I'm going to do is add just little tiny drops of the Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue. I can be a little more generous in the center, but on these ends, all I'm going to do is just add just little dots and on the thickest parts. And if you want to try to add some extra in these other pieces, you can. It's going to hold pretty well, and there's enough other areas that will keep it in place. So I just don't want glue oozing out everywhere. But if you use a gentle hand, you should be okay. And the key is, which I thought I did and then I forgot, finding where your matching points are first. Oh, there we go. I did better than I thought. Where that matches up so that you have just a few seconds to shift it into place with the glue. You could use the adhesive sheets, but the thing with those is you don't have as much wiggle room to reposition as you do with the liquid glue, and that's why I like using it. So there we go. Oh, and then I'm going to put in my centers, my black centers, my COVID center. Yeah, it's going to be a memory, that's for sure. Oops, I got a little carried away with that adhesive. Just going to put a little tiny drop there because this has little holes in it, so I don't want anything, those pieces to fall out. And that adhesive in the back will dry and disappear. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put dimensionals, which again I forgot. There's always something I just forget. So many things. It's awful. And I'm going to bring both the big ones and the little ones just in case. But I'm going to put, normally I will put dimensionals on quite a large size, or a lot of it because I want it stable, but I want to be able to tuck in my my leaves, my ferns and stuff. So I'm just going to put it right in the center this time. And my scissors, my snips, because we're going to cut up these leaves. We're not going to use them all whole because you won't see most of it anyway. So let's see, I had this going this way. Oh, I forgot my scallop piece. Ooh, almost forgot the scalloped piece. And if you want to pop this up, you can. I tend to find it gets a little difficult with mailing cards if you have too many extra popped up layers. One layer is one thing, but if you have one and then another, your postage starts to rack up. At least it does here in the US anyway. So I'm putting these corner scallops right on the sort of on the edge of that diagonal, as close as I can, and we'll attach this with just a little bit of it peeking out here. There we go. So now I am going to take one evening evergreen leaf and one soft succulent leaf that's narrow, and I am going to layer these two together. That's the one piece I will do this layering with. Oops, not yet. Let's see, so I want just a little bit of glue. Don't want to get carried away. Okay. And very carefully, I didn't put any glue at the bottom, so line these up on the edges to give it the two-tone look. And while that glue is, before it sets too much, I want to get those in place. There we go. I think we're good. It's pretty good. So this one is going to get tucked in here. So it's going to ride up to the top, and I'm just going to add some glue to the back of that. So this is the only one I think that I'm using at full strength, or at full size I should say, because I want it to be the longest. Okay, and now I'm going to take one of these, the lightest little bud leaf, and I'm going to take the other piece. Oh, wait a minute. Uh-oh. Did I lose? I lost. Oh, I think actually I was supposed to use a piece of that. I wasn't supposed to use that whole thing. Oh well, we're going to wing it. I need to attach one of the little buds to the back of this little bud leaf branch. And I was supposed to cut off a piece of this, so we're going to be short a leaf. I can always cut another one if I really have to. We'll see. So we'll tuck this, we'll just tuck this one right in here. We just won't add any more foliage to that point. So we can just add that there. Now I'm definitely going to cut this one down. Now this one is just going to get tucked down at the bottom, and we don't want it to hang off the card because it won't fit in an envelope. So I'm just gonna give it a little snip there because we'll use that piece elsewhere, and we'll just tuck this one in here. That one gets tucked right in there, right to the corner. And then we'll take one of the dark bud stems. If I can pick them up, I don't have nails, so it makes it difficult. And then we'll just, again, attach a little bit, put a little bit of glue here so we can attach that one of the other buds. There we go. Stick this one coming out of here. And then we can take a little bit of this leaf. I'm just going to snip that right there, and we'll tuck that in there too. Oops. Stay put. And then we'll take these two. Let's see, these will mount together, but I'm going to separate them just so that it gives more foliage. Because we've got another little bud to set up in there, which is right here. But I'm going to just curve this so it doesn't look like it's totally been cut off. It looks more like a part of the original leaf. Stick that there. Oh, come on, stay put. And then we got one more bud. I try to rush through these because I know sometimes when I'm watching videos, it's like, okay, get on with it already. Too much talking, too much commercializing, you know, like, I'm selling this, we have this special, and you just want to see something. So that's going to go there. Great. So there's the outside, and as I said, you can always add some bling to it if you want. You know, it would jazz it up. If I ever get the gems, I might, if I still have this card, I'll add something, or maybe I'll just add some rhinestones, I don't know. But on the inside, what I did was, just to add a little bit of interest on the inside, I took the solid poppy image, and then this flower, and actually I guess I'm going to have to use rich razzleberry to coordinate with the front, so let me grab that, and a basic black marker. And actually I need a little piece of tissue. I'll use a piece of tissue. Okay, so what I did was first put the stamp on a block would be helpful, and inked it up. And because it's small, if you do this, you might see some square marks, so I gave it a little rub as well, and I stamped it off the edge. And this particular smudge doesn't really exactly meet, in fact I think I just, why that, I want to cover that, I might ink that up some more. It doesn't exactly meet the shape of the flowers. Again, like I was saying before, they're meant to be sort of watercolory, I guess. And then I'm going to take the rich razzleberry, which is the darker color. It's funny, my granddaughter saw this card. She comes in my craft room. She's only 5, and she wants to make stuff, but really what she means is she wants me to make it. So we had to make a card like this. And I always have to make it exactly as the one she saw. So I'm just going to wipe off that razzleberry ink from the center so I can hit it with my basic black marker. And color that in. Give it a good covering. And then we're going to give it a huff. And I'm just going to go in with it. So you sort of get that watercolor wash look. And then we'll just add that to the inside. And if you wanted to add more to the sentiment, or, you know, if you're not a writer, you know, you can just put a big sentiment on the inside. But I always write in my cards. I make it a point to personalize them. I'm not a super great writer, but I do my best to say something to even my Christmas cards. I do that. It drives me crazy, you know, nowadays, the youngsters that have those pre-printed photos, and they don't even sign their name. They get just their name printed, and very often there's a sticker to mail it, and it's like, okay, really? That's not me. So there you go. So there's the inside and the outside. And as I said, here are the other two. You can go to my blog and see more detail on these. So we've got polished pink, pale papaya, fresh freesia, and then we've got the soft succulent and evergreen, evening evergreen. So that's your 5-in colors for this year. And again, if you are interested and would like to place an order using my host code by the end of June with a $50 order, I'll send you a package, a full package of the Champagne Rhinestone Basic Jewels. So thanks so much for your patience. I hope you found this a little interesting, and give it a try. Bye-bye for now.